Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. Today, Wednesday, the 15th of April. Yesterday, some of you were questioning us on a number of issues. You know that we always prefer to inform after the college, not before it takes place. So it's with great pleasure that we welcome in our press room today our Competition Commissioner, Margrethe Vestager, who will brief you on the latest developments, on the college decisions and discussions, and then we can accommodate your questions. Commissioner?
Well, thank you very much. Today we have adopted a statement of objection to Google. It outlines our preliminary view that Google's favorable treatment of its comparison shopping service, you probably know it as Google Shopping, is an abuse of Google's dominant position in general search. Google now has 10 weeks to respond. And of course, I will carefully consider the response before deciding how to proceed. In parallel, on the basis of our initial investigation, the Commission also today have launched a formal in-depth investigation of Google's conduct as regards the mobile operating system Android, apps and services. My goal is to ensure that consumers and innovative companies can benefit from a competitive environment in Europe. And where there are concerns expressed about Google's conduct that can be addressed by EU competition law, I will approach this issue in a fair and objective way on the basis of evidence and in accordance with our rules. The aim is basic and it's in our values. It's for the sake of consumers and for the sake of innovation. Since I took office last November, I have given a very high priority to the Google investigation. Given that we are dealing with moving markets, I had first updated the files so the information that we have there is relevant information to make sure that we grasp the latest market developments. I have also met a broad range of players, that be formal and informal complainants, and that be, of course, also Google themselves. I find myself that these investigations are extremely important, and I very much appreciate the work done both previously but also in preparing this statement of objection and the opening by the team that helps me. Just one thing I would like to state straight away. 1 out of 4 individual companies that are complainants are US companies. And companies from the United States also play a major role when it comes to these business associations who has complained. Google has a market share of over 90% in general internet search in most EU member countries, and have had so for many years. I think that most people would like to have such a successful company. And definitely my kids or myself never, consider for a minute that this is a US company or a European company. The reason why we use it is that Google has very good products. And I think that is important. Because dominance as such is not a problem. Not in general and not under EU law. However, dominant companies have a responsibility not to abuse their powerful market position by restricting competition, either in the market where they are dominant or in neighboring markets. And today's statement of objection focuses on the preferential treatment by Google in its general search results of one of Google's own products, its comparison shopping services. This allows consumers to search for products on online shopping websites and compare prices between different vendors. Our preliminary view in the statement of objection is that in its general internet search result, Google artificially favors its own comparison shopping service, and that this constitutes an abuse. Our investigation so far has shown that when a consumer enters a shopping-related query in Google's search engine, Google's comparison shopping product is systematically displayed prominent at the top of the search results. This display is irrespective of whether it is the most relevant response to the query. Thus, Google's commercial product is not subject to the same algorithm as other comparison shopping services. And in our data material, we see that Google have engaged in this conduct in a broad number of member states since 2008 and continues to do so. The commercial importance of appearing prominently in Google's search results is obvious. I'm concerned that Google has artificially boosted its presence in the comparison shopping market, with the result that consumers may not necessarily see what's most relevant for them, or that Google's competitors may not get the commercial opportunities that their innovative services may deserve. Therefore, our preliminary findings indicate that in the present case, dominance in one market is used to create an advantage in another market, in a related market. The related market's position does not appear to reflect the merits of Google's comparison service, but rather as a result from Google using its considerable market power in which it's dominant. So what we see here at first is that to remedy this conduct, this behavior, Google should treat its own comparison shopping service the same way in its general search results as its rivals. Just to be absolutely clear, we do not wish to interfere with screen design, with design choices, with how things are presented on the screen as such, or how the algorithm works. This is not what we are thinking about. Rather, what we would like to see is that consumers are certain to see the best comparison shopping results. And they should not just be shown the Google shopping results if they are not the most relevant response to the query. Then just a few words about the scope, because today's statement of objection on comparison shopping is of course limited, but it's also the first place where we got a complaint. First place where we got a complaint that Google is favoring its product in search for the longest period in time. However, we will continue to look at Google's conduct in other areas. I guess you all know some of the related Google products, that be hotels or flight or maps. And if an infringement is proven, and it is on purpose that I put an weight on the if an infringement is proven, a case focusing on comparison shopping could potentially establish a broader precedent for enforcing EU competition rules in other instances of Google's favoring its own services over competitive services. There are other investigations as well. The Commission has previously expressed 3 other concerns as regards to Google's conduct. That be the copying of rivals' web content, also known as scrapping, exclusivity in its agreement with advertising partners, and undue restrictions on advertisers' ability to use competing advertising platforms. And we will continue actively to investigate these 3 concerns. Then just finally some words on Android, because as I mentioned in the beginning, we also launch a separate in-depth investigation regarding Android. In recent years, smartphones and tablets have changed the way that consumers and citizens access the internet, and of course also the way that companies do business, obviously. Mobile internet usage is growing rapidly, dramatically, and there is no reason to think that this will change in the coming years, on the contrary. And my wish is that consumers will benefit from the broadest possible range of mobile services and innovation, of course, when it comes to mobile services as well. The Commission has received a number of complaints and also carried out an initial investigation on its own initiative. Today's launch of an in-depth investigation will give us the opportunity to examine the facts and the allegations raised. And in particular, we will address 3 different concerns. First concern is that we will look into Google's allegedly requiring or incentivizing smartphone and tablet manufacturers to exclusively pre-install Google's own application or services, in particular Google's search engine. Second, we will look into the alleged bundling together of certain Google products with other apps and other services. And thirdly, we will investigate if Google is hindering the ability of manufacturers of smartphones and tablets who want to use the Android operating system from being able to use and develop other open source versions of Android, what is called Android forks. These issues are distinct from the Google comparison shopping case, and the investigations will, of course, be separate. I sense that there is a certain interest of these cases. And I think that the basic reason is, of course, that this concerns many people, and it concerns a number of businesses. And therefore, of course, it's very important for me to stress that this is about consumers. This is about consumers getting the best possible results of their query to enable choice. And this is for businesses to be able to present their innovative products to consumers. Because these are the dynamics. These are the dynamics of our internet, of e-commerce, that there is an incentive to be innovative, and that you as a consumer can find the things that you're looking for. It is a great responsibility for me to handle these cases. And of course, and maybe I don't even need to say this, this is an investigation based on facts, on the interpretation of facts and the abuses that we find in our preliminary reviews. So, of course, both the statement of objection and the formal in-depth investigation is a fact-based endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Before we start, information material has already circulated. We have in the room experts from the teams that will be happy to assist you with your technical inquiries after the press conference. And as the Commissioner said, given the interest, I would appeal to all of you to avoid being repetitive so that we can cover as much ground as we can. Valentina asked, was the quickest of all.
Hi, Valentina Pop from the Wall Street Journal. Hello, Commissioner.